Alright gang, here's the 68 Camaro that I've been working on. This is the one that I put mini tubs in, and I showed you the steps involved with that. And I'm going to change the firewall. Now this firewall is the original firewall, and you can see it's got all kinds of dents and dings and ripples and everything else in it. And I'm going to be putting in this firewall. This is from Dynacorn. This is of course a smooth firewall. As you can see, it'll do away with all those extra holes and stuff because the owner is going to put in a vintage air kit. So rather than put a block off plate, we're just going to address it all in one shot, make it nice and clean. I'm going to try to smooth up as much as I can for him on the way. Hopefully this doesn't take too long. I've been working on finishing up the mini tubs, and basically today I just trimmed everything out, did a bunch of blending, and sealed them. And the plan will be to put on some epoxy primer on top of everything so that they look nice and clean. So that's where those are at. I'm still on hold for basket case, but it's closer to the lift, or it's in front of the lift, so that may be getting put up in the air here shortly. But I'll go through the steps of pulling this firewall, and what I'll end up doing is of course pulling the steering column. That's got to go. I will unbolt the front subframe, get that out of the way, and support everything on jack stands, stabilize it, and then I'll start separating all the weld seams. And you can see the pattern, you can see the shape of this firewall and where it goes. So that'll be the steps, and hopefully I'll get started on this tomorrow actually. Okay, so it's tomorrow, or today, however you want to look at it. And I've already dropped the subframe out of the way. That was pretty easy, just 4 bolts. Pulled the steering column, and of course have it on jack stands. And now I want to show you a couple things. You can see where all the spot welds are, or for the most part see the spot welds that were factory done. And these spot welds up on the upper section are welded to the cowl. So let's say I put my hand up here, you can see I'm bottoming out, and if I bring that here, that's the cowl. And so you don't want to drill those. I'm going to take a grinder or a sanding disc or whatever and weaken those welds and separate them as I go along. And I'll probably get out the trusty plasma cutter, which I love to use, and I'll probably come from the inside and cut out. That way I'm not taking a chance and cutting in and maybe catch the cowl. And remove the bulk of this firewall and get it out of the way. Somebody has done some work on it, let's say, and it's got places where they hit it with a hammer and bent things and dented it up, and it just doesn't look good at all to me. So I have no problem scrapping it out and replacing it. And as I go along and I make progress with the separations, I'll show you how it goes, and maybe some things to look out for if I run into something. Okay, so I've got the bulk of the firewall out, and I started blending down some welds. And I just want to show you something here. This lip, there's actually a lip here. This comes out and rolls up and creates the bottom of the cowl. I'd assumed it was all one piece, but it's not. There's 2 pieces. And then the firewall laps on top of that. So be careful when you separate that. Other than that, I'm just going to continue to go around breaking welds and separating. But I want to show you something. This is what frustrates me whenever somebody works on cars and they know what they're doing. This car, I bought it several years ago, and I've shown you what I've done to it, and I put quarters on it. And in previous videos, I expressed my opinion on how people hack stuff together. And you know, obviously I'm not a fan of that. I like doing things the right way. Well, when I started cutting this, I cut to where the firewall should have been and where the floor pan would have overlapped. And that's where this line is. Now, I know somebody had put in floor pans, and I guess what they did I know it's kind of hard to figure out right now, because here's the end of what was the original firewall, and then there's a piece here, and here's another end, and here's another end. So it looks like they cut out these pieces for some reason, and I don't know, I'm really confused because I don't see how you do this. But anyway, the firewall, or the floor pan, was cut long. They didn't cut it to fit in the exact location of the original. Along with that, this, which is what's left of the floor pan, is not even welded. What you can see there is caulking or something, where they just put some junk between the two panels and then set the floor pan in. Yeah, there's nothing there. And I haven't messed with this side, but look at that. Surprise, nothing holding it except for caulking or whatever they stuck in there. So it's a good thing I'm attacking this firewall. The other thing is, if you look right here, this is all Bondo. And look, none of that is welded. That's my first push on it, and you can see it's just a bunch of junk. And they hit it pretty well. I mean, it was blended in and painted over. So looks like I've got a little more work I'm going to end up doing, because I can't let that slide. So what I'll end up doing is cleaning up these laps, re-welding this back together so it's solid. Same way over here, I found a bunch of Bondo, and it looks like there's a couple of tack welds on the edge here. And I'm not going to do the whole thing. I'm just going to do this front section. I'm going to clean out this Bondo, re-weld this whole edge, make this all solid again the way it should be, and separate what's left of the firewall here, and create a good foundation when I put these two together. It also looks like it may have been wrecked on this side, because this piece here is a bit out of shape. You can see it's all kind of twisted up. So when I take off what's left of the firewall, I will straighten that out as well, so everything fits together a lot better. There's also like a little patch down here. I don't know, a bunch of crazy stuff. You know, some people just do things in order to rip other people off. And you know, that's part of it, I guess. You gotta know what you're looking at. And I know I bought this car thinking that a bunch of things were right on it, and I should have known better. I should have just picked up another one and worked on it. But lesson learned, and let that be a lesson to all of you out there in YouTube land. Okay, so here's a continuation on this firewall video. And as you've seen by what I've just showed you, not good. You know, just really disgusted by what I found. I did have a conversation with the owner, and we talked about this floor pan issue, and he was very open to my idea of replacing the whole floor pan. I think possibly when this was done poorly, as I've said, that maybe the only, you know, side pans were available, and so these people pretended like they knew what they were doing and put these things in. So I'm going to cut out the whole thing, and I told him if he buys the pan, I'll put it in at no charge, because when I sold this thing to him, I was under the impression this was correct and as it should have been, and obviously it wasn't. So I'll show you a few more things. I've cut away the end of the mess they had there, and so I'm gonna have to cut off all the, you know, rusty stuff here and fabricate new pieces, at least so it mimics this one, which is all there. It does have new seat risers or seat pans in it, so I'll salvage those. And let me show you this. This is pretty exciting. There are welds up here. I can, you know, you can maybe see, I don't know, but they're evidence of spot welds. But that pan's not even attached. nice. Well, it'll make it easy for taking them out anyway. But I'll cut out those 2 pans as well and salvage those, and of course get the rest of the floor pan cut out. So that'll be another video. I'll make the whole progressive video, but this is just the first one here, and I'm really disgusted by this because some people have no integrity. They they'll hide stuff intentionally, which is what they did all through this car, and they did a good job hiding it. But my name's going to be on this car too, and I'd hate to have something happen, them drive this car and get in an accident and somebody gets hurt and they come back and say, well, why didn't you fix this? And it's just one of those things. So I'm going to make it right, and it's going to be a really nice car when he's done. He's planning on really putting some money into it. So yep, I'm just going to have to do it.